So taking the V60 for a test drive, it actually starts off in the parking lot because there's a lot of things, once you get in the vehicle, there's a lot of things that just are amazing. So the camera system this vehicle has is very, very functional and useful. It's advanced, but it's one of those things that's, once you know the key principles behind the system and how to use it properly, it'll really help you out in a lot of situations. So the clarity of the screen is really nice. Now you notice this vehicle to my right is very distorted. That's because the vehicle is above the camera here on the side mirror. So the camera was on the side mirror facing down. Okay, so it's trying to let you know something's there, but the more up it is, the less, and further away from it, the less accurate it is to real life. But you notice, I don't know if you can see this, the bricks, there's actually a brick driveway here, and the bricks, even over here, like 10 feet to the left of the vehicle, since it's below that camera, the bricks are actually accurate looking, the whole pattern and everything. The trees, these shadows for the trees are straight. It's able to really replicate the ground around you very well, especially the lines right there. So you can line your vehicle up and position it. It also has really good parking sensors. So as I go forward, not only does it let me know something's up there, but it actually puts a bar right where the thing is. So that's really handy. So if you're going forward, all of a sudden you don't really see that little curb there, then it actually highlights what the object is that you're, might potentially hit. Also, the rear cross traffic alert as we're backing out of the parking space. We can look at this view here, or traditionally when we put it in reverse, it's going to give us this camera. Okay, so this is a wide view. Okay, and you can see all the way down from one side to the other and directly behind you. Also, the active guidelines are there. So let's go ahead and back up, and there's no cars now. So as we back up, it's not going to alert us, but if there was a vehicle coming from either side, then it will alert us to the oncoming traffic or a pedestrian or a bicyclist. It's able to pick up those as well. Okay, so now the heads-up display actually has a heads-up display. I had to turn the brightness down. It was a little bit too bright and distracting. Now I got it about right. It's something that I'm not used to, a heads-up display. So, that's part of the reason why I had to turn the brightness down. Now it shows you the speed limit there on the heads-up display. You can have that turned on or off. It also shows you your speed, a digital speedometer. Now the speed limit sign reader using the camera system is a lot more handy than I thought it was going to be. It shows here on the dash, the digital screen, and it also shows up there. Now sometimes, there's lots of times I didn't even realize this, that there's no speed limit sign for miles. So if you happen to get on a road and you don't know what the speed limit is, if you happen to pass one and you just didn't notice one, this will go ahead and read the sign for you and show you what the speed limit is. So this is really handy. It also, it's almost instant. As soon as it sees the sign, it preps you, showing that the speed limit is changing, and then it'll actually change at the appropriate time. You also have speed limit warning. So like, say you can set it, if you go 5 miles over the speed limit or anything over the speed limit, it'll give you a little bit of a chime to let you know, to avoid a ticket, hopefully. It's a very quiet vehicle and comfortable. It's a very precise feeling vehicle. The steering is easy to turn. It also has the steering assist as well for the guidelines there when you have the adaptive cruise control enabled. Yeah, so there you go. Goes up, gets going pretty good. So let's go ahead and set the cruise control. So I got it set at 61, and it's the adaptive cruise control, and I have it set at a far distance. So this is as far out as you can go. You can have a closer distance by pushing that way, so it's further or closer. And it has the lane keep assist right now, so without the pilot assist, if it does get close to the line, it's going to kind of bump you back, okay? So you can kind of like steer you back, but then it's going to kind of wander around. But if you scroll to the right here, now we have pilot assist, and you notice little green steering wheel. It's here and on the heads-up display. Now it's following the road more. It's not just avoiding the lines and bouncing back and forth. It's driving more in a serious way, depending on the lines in the road sometimes, like that one kind of wandered. It helps out if there's a vehicle in front of you that it can follow, but just following the lines, it does pretty good. So you can see it's starting to wander a little bit because of the lines for the exit. Now it's going back to the center. So this is the semi-autonomous driving system. So it's telling me to apply steering, but yeah, it follows the road. It also will be able to come to a stop and then re-accelerate if there's a vehicle in front of you that slows down while you have the adaptive cruise control on. It'll sense that, actually apply the brakes, and you'll see the brake lights activate and everything. It's actually going to stop the vehicle and slow it down for you. So if there's a vehicle that happens to slow down or turn off, what I'm going to do is not put my foot on the brake and show you how it actually slows down by itself, and not just slows down by removing the foot off the accelerator type deal, but actually applies braking and keeps me at a safe distance. Okay, this vehicle's slowing down, so now I'm not touching the brake. I'm not touching the brake, holding my foot over the brake because it's a automatic system. Okay, so now I didn't touch the brake, and now I'm not touching the accelerator. Okay, I'm not touching the accelerator. And it's accelerating very slow right now, but it's gonna speed up a little bit. So I didn't touch the brake, okay? And I'm not touching the accelerator. That whole thing was automatic. So there are times where the sun's shining on the dashboard. I don't know if you can see this. With the sun shining on the dashboard, there's enough features on the dashboard to reflect off the windshield, and that's the biggest thing that I've noticed in this vehicle, getting in and driving it, that I'm so distracted by these reflections in the windshield that because of these, if there was a featureless flat matte dashboard, then you wouldn't be able to see all this, but it has all this stuff here, and it's reflecting. It's kind of like your eyes are focusing on, you have the heads-up display, you have all these reflections going on, and kind of a distraction here when driving. And I guess I haven't driven this vehicle a whole lot, but I'm assuming you would get used to that and just ignore it. But here it is. I've driven the vehicle a couple days actually, and I'm still, at times when the sun is hitting it just right, basically anytime the sun is shining directly on the dashboard, it is a distraction. So that's something that I noticed right away, and it's constantly popping up throughout the day, depending on which way the vehicle's facing and all that stuff. Hey, I'm used to driving a V6 Challenger with 305 horsepower. This vehicle has a similar horsepower rating with a 4-cylinder. And getting in it, I was like, yeah, right, it's not going to be. I was very skeptical. Because it's 4 cylinders, even with the turbocharger and the supercharger. I was like, I don't know. I was didn't think it was going to be quite as peppy, and I thought I was going to have an issue with it, just not having enough power sometimes. But bear in mind, this is flat land in this area. But the acceleration, everything has been really, really good, and it has a low end torque range to where I could just, I don't really have to floor it. I'm able to get going relatively rapid, just like my other car, without any kind of, without an issue. And sometimes it feels a little bit more zippy because it's, a little bit lighter vehicle. Now, one thing I noticed, putting it in dynamic mode holds the RPMs higher to get you closer to the appropriate power band. It cuts back on your fuel economy, but it just didn't seem as fast. It just feels like you're just revving the engine, but you're not really getting that zip that the regular normal mode, your normal drive mode, has. So I was kind of surprised, and it's not that surprising because it seems like the same thing happens in my car, where when I put it in sport mode, it just doesn't feel like it's as fast and zippy. It's just not as desirable as the normal mode. Blind spot monitor system works quite well. It has the indicators on the side mirrors, the little LED bars, and they will illuminate, of course, while we're driving, not right now. So that helps out when you're on the highway. You're able to just have an extra clarity that there's no vehicle right there in your blind spot. Always look, because if you don't rely on just the mirror or just the blind spot indicator. 58. Now the cruise control, if you're going to adjust the speed manually using these up and down buttons, what threw me off to begin with is when you push this button, it goes to 65. I had it at 60, it goes all the way up to 65, okay? Push it down, it goes to 60. So it's jumping 5 miles per hour at a time when I just press it. Now my vehicle, it just does 1 mile an hour, so I do have to press it a lot and press it. So when I get in this vehicle and start pressing it a lot, I'm, all of a sudden I'm at like 90 miles an hour within a few presses. And if you want to fine tune it with, like say 1 mile an hour at a time, you press and hold it, and it goes to the next one. Press and hold it, go to the next one, like so. Now you got to check out my night video because the active bending headlights are really cool. So at nighttime, as you turn the steering wheel, you can see the headlights just bend and turn in the direction and then match the steering wheel. It's pretty neat. And it has the cornering lights as well. All that's detailed in the night video. So yeah, this is a really neat car to drive. It's very precise and just a really relatively quiet vehicle to drive. Feature rich, comfortable, and it just makes you feel nice driving it. Also, it looks fantastic, so you kind of have walking away from it, you always got to turn around and look at it, and when you're coming back to it in the parking lot, you're like, dang, that's a nice car. I like the way you can have the navigation here between the gauges, or you can have it here on the screen. Lots of features. So I have a night video, I have a specific to the screen video, I have the setting up the vehicle with all the settings. I have a full walk around video, several test drive videos, including a 360 view test drive video as well. So anyways, I think you get the idea of what I'm getting at as far as the way it drives and everything and how the features work. But yeah, very impressed with it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.